Okay, we need to talk about what could be a genuinely world-altering story. In just the past few days, the NATO alliance has been plunged into a crisis like we've never seen before, and it's coming from a place no one expected. I mean, listen to this. This is the stark, almost unbelievable warning from Mette Frederiksen. She's the leader of Denmark, one of NATO's founding members. That's a statement that would have been completely unthinkable just a little while ago, but it perfectly sums up how serious this is. And here's the reason why. The source of this entire crisis is that the alliance's most powerful member, the United States, has not ruled out using military force to take Greenland, which, of course, is part of Denmark, another NATO member. This is a direct threat from one ally to another. So how on earth did we get here? This isn't just some diplomatic disagreement. This strikes at the very heart of what the NATO alliance was created for. To really understand why this is an existential threat, we have to look at the single most important principle that holds NATO together. This is it, Article 5. This one article is the heart and soul of NATO. It's the promise, the all-for-one, one-for-all deal made over 75 years ago that has been the bedrock of European and North American security. It means an attack on one is an attack on all. Simple as that. And this timeline just perfectly illustrates the profound and frankly bitter irony here. The one and only time Article 5 has ever been used in history was to defend the United States. Allies from all over stood with America. Now that very same country is the one actively undermining the principle that was invoked to protect it. But what makes this moment so incredibly dangerous is that the alliance is getting hit with two separate but related threats that are shaking it right to its foundations. So, the first threat. This one is direct, it's unambiguous, and it's completely unprecedented in the history of the entire alliance. Let's be crystal clear about this. In NATO's entire history, no member has ever militarily attacked another. The idea itself was always just absurd. A U.S. attack on Greenland wouldn't just be a violation of international law, it would be a complete and immediate demolition of NATO's founding charter. And nobody is dismissing this as just talk, especially after the recent U.S. military operation in Venezuela, which, by the way, was authorized without even informing Congress. There's a growing fear that the administration is perfectly willing to violate international law to get what it wants. So this quote from the Secretary of State, yeah, it's being taken very, very seriously in European capitals. All right, the second threat is a bit more subtle, but in the long run, it could be just as dangerous to the stability of Europe. You see, beyond the direct threat to Greenland, the actual promise of collective defense is being deliberately weakened. That certainty that the U.S. would come to an ally's aid, which is the entire deterrent effect of NATO, is being eroded. And that's creating this deep strategic uncertainty for every single European ally. And this comment, it really connects to a much bigger picture. When you combine that statement with the new U.S. national security strategy, which is all about restoring American preeminence in the Western Hemisphere, it starts to look like a potential U.S. abandonment of Europe. So why would a U.S. withdrawal or even just a wavering commitment be so catastrophic for European security? Well, the reality is, for decades, the entire system has been built around American leadership. The simple fact is that European defenses are deeply integrated with and reliant on core U.S. military capabilities. We're talking about the heavy lift aircraft, the satellite networks, the advanced intelligence gathering, basically the entire backbone of any major military operation. To put it bluntly, Europe simply cannot replace America's role overnight or even in a few years. It would take decades to build up the capabilities to act independently. A sudden U.S. pullback would leave the continent incredibly vulnerable for a very, very long time. So this leaves European leaders facing two urgent and incredibly difficult challenges that they have to tackle at the same time. They are in a serious diplomatic and strategic bind. So first, they have to manage the immediate fire, the threat to Greenland. Emergency talks are already happening. But at the same time, they have to begin the massive, long-term project of planning for a future where their greatest ally might not be an ally at all. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one fundamental question. The answer will not only determine the future of NATO, but could very well reshape the entire landscape of global security that we've known since the end of the Second World War.